You can differentiate by self-direction, given that us learners will have our penny-dropping, I got it, eureka moments at different times. It makes sense to have us all do some self-directing learning at our own pace. Perhaps you could put together some task or quiz sheets for us to complete in a session, using books, the internet, the information you have already given us in the previous session. Or you could put crib sheets together to be completed by the end of the week, month or term.
It is really important that you check learning is taking place throughout the session. Even if the session is lively, entertaining and has a real buzz about it, it's all useless if learning is not taking place. And the only way to demonstrate learning is to check it in class. Questions, quizzes, recaps and so on.
You can differentiate by individual or group learning agendas. Split us into different groups according to level of knowledge or skill, or have mixed ability groups and set the groups a task.
You've got to make sure that everyone's learning is tested, not just mine.
I have difficulty reading and writing. My condition is called dyslexia.
I'm dyspraxic. This means I have problems with hand-eye coordination and manual dexterity.
I have difficulty writing. My condition is called dysgraphia. For me and any other learners with a learning difficulty, you need to speak to the learning support team in your organisation to find out how best to help me in class.
When you break us up into groups for a group task, or when you ask us to help each other as a peer support activity, please make sure that you give clear instructions to us all about what you're asking us to do.
Most of the time, when teachers break us into groups, everyone gets distracted and starts chatting about stuff that has nothing to do with classwork.
If you put the group activity up on the wall or the flip chart or a smart board with a clear timescale for completion, it helps us keep us all on task.
And give us roles like timekeeper, scribe, keepers on tasker.
Cover as much information if you keep breaking things up into smaller units of learning, but it's okay. If we learn slightly less, but we learn it well, that's better than throwing everything at us and us only learning half of it.
Peer review is a powerful teaching tool. And don't forget to liaise with your learning support assistant so as to make sure every learner is getting the best out of the session, and that you, me and ALS are all aiming at the right predetermined target.
At the start of the session, ask a learner to quickly recap on the previous lesson's learning.
If they can't do it, it's because they never learnt it in the first place, or they learnt it and forgot it. Either way, it needs to be done again. Better.
Don't just recap on the last session. Recap on the highlights of the whole course. Linking learning like this makes it easier to understand.
I'm sure it goes without saying, but just in case it doesn't, focus higher level recap questions on higher level learners and basic recap questions on less able learners.
I worked out quite early on in my education that when a teacher asks me a question, all I have to do is stay dumb and stare at him or her, and eventually they'll just give up and pick on someone else. But then this one teacher, she worked out that if she then moves on to someone else and they get the question right, all she has to do is come back to me and ask me the question again, and I look like a fool if I can't answer it then, don't I? So I do answer it.
Be ready to probe beyond the first answer in order to make us really think. Why do you think that? How did you come to that conclusion?
Another way to keep things learner-centred is to ask a learner to record the main points of a group discussion on the whiteboard or a smartboard.
In fact, one of the best ways to solidify understanding of a topic is to teach it. So get peer review systems in place as part of your sessions every chance you get. Make us learners do the work.